There are moments in life when everything around you appears normal. Your job continues, your relationships are stable, your routine is unshaken. And yet, within you, there is a restlessness that cannot be explained. It is not born out of crisis, nor is it fueled by external hardship. It is subtle, like a quiet whisper that won't go away. This inner stirring often brings confusion, because from the outside there seems to be no reason for discomfort. But deep in your soul you sense that the life you are living, though it may be good, is no longer aligned with where God is leading you. This is the beginning of divine transition. This discomfort is not a sign of failure, nor is it rebellion. It is the Spirit's gentle invitation to deeper waters. You may find that the things which once gave you joy no longer satisfy you. The conversations you used to enjoy begin to feel hollow. The goals you once set for yourself feel strangely unimportant. This is because God is reordering your inner world to prepare you for something new. He is loosening the grip of the familiar, not to punish you, but to free you. And though it feels unsettling, it is actually a sign of His closeness, not His absence. God is not trying to strip you of peace, but to awaken you to purpose. This unease, if discerned through prayer, becomes holy ground. It causes you to pray differently. You stop asking for comfort and begin to ask for clarity. You start to notice that your spirit no longer agrees with places, people, or patterns that once seemed natural. What you're feeling is not dissatisfaction with life, it's dissatisfaction with stagnation. God is not content for you to remain stuck in old wineskins when He is ready to pour in new wine. Often we mistake this holy unrest as something to be fixed. We assume we've sinned, that something's wrong with us, or that we're being ungrateful. But the truth is, God often uses a discontented heart to signal that our season is changing. If He allowed you to feel complete peace in the place He's calling you out of, you would never move forward. So instead, He lets the old become uncomfortable. He disrupts your sleep, burdens your thoughts, and nudges your spirit so that you will begin to seek Him more deeply. This is not the time to panic or run. This is the time to listen. God speaks in the silence between your thoughts. That restlessness is not the absence of peace. It is the presence of invitation. He is inviting you to draw near, to lean in, to hear what He is saying. When you feel this divine discomfort, resist the urge to numb it with distraction or dismiss it with logic. Instead, bring it to the Lord and ask, "What are you saying to me in this season?" The answer may not come all at once, but peace will follow each step of obedience. There's a temptation during these seasons to go backward, to cling to what once worked, to return to former rhythms. But when God is calling you forward, going back will only increase the inner turmoil. You were made for more, and the Spirit within you knows it. What seems like restlessness is really readiness. The soil of your heart is being tilled for new seed. Don't fear the shaking. God is not taking something from you. He's making space within you for something greater than what you've known. Sometimes this unrest isolates you. You may find it hard to explain what you're feeling to others. Even those closest to you may not understand why you've changed, why your priorities have shifted, or why you've become more introspective. That's because this is not a public announcement. It's a personal awakening. God speaks to each of us uniquely, and when He is about to birth something new in your life, He will often do it in the secret place. It is there alone with Him that your next steps will be revealed. So if you're feeling uneasy in a place that once felt safe, don't rush to escape the feeling. Sit with it, pray through it, trust the process. You are not broken, you are being prepared. What you feel is not despair, it is divine direction, and when the time is right, the fog will lift, and you will step into a new chapter with the confidence of someone who has walked through fire and found God waiting on the other side. This unrest is not your end, it is your beginning. God is doing something new. Let your heart be still and know that He is near. There are times when life feels like it's unraveling. Your circumstances may be pressing in on every side. Confusion clouds your thoughts, and your heart feels the weight of uncertainty. Everything in the natural seems to suggest that you should panic. Bills are unpaid, relationships are strained, the future is unknown, and you're carrying burdens that no one sees. Yet in the middle of that chaos there comes a strange, quiet calm. It doesn't make sense. It isn't something you manufactured. It settles on you like a soft blanket, not loud or showy, but firm and unmistakable. This is not ordinary calm, it is the supernatural peace of God. This peace doesn't come because you've figured everything out. It comes in the very moment you realize you can't figure everything out. You've reached the end of your strength, and yet instead of crumbling, you feel held together by something stronger than you. The storm is still raging outside, but there is stillness inside. That stillness is not from within you, it is from above you. The Bible calls it the peace that surpasses all understanding. And when it comes, it silences every lie of the enemy that says you are alone, abandoned, or forgotten. This sudden peace often comes after you've prayed your most honest prayers. Those moments when you're not trying to impress God with perfect words, but you fall before Him in tears or silence, saying, "Lord, I don't know what to do anymore." And it is in that moment of surrender that something shifts, not always externally, but certainly internally. You sense that God is not watching from a distance. He is right there in the middle of the mess, whispering, "Be still. I've got this." That whisper quiets the waves of worry. This peace is not a denial of reality. It doesn't ignore the problem or pretend that suffering doesn't exist. Rather, it acknowledges all the weight of what you're facing and still refuses to bow to fear. It is the mark of someone who has met the Prince of Peace. God doesn't always remove the problem, but He changes the atmosphere within you so that the problem no longer controls you. Peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God in the trouble. And when that presence is real, worry loses its grip. Sometimes the peace of God is so strong, it even surprises you. You begin to notice that your reactions are different. Where once you would have panicked, now you're calm. Where once you would have been overwhelmed, now you feel anchored. You start making decisions not out of fear, but from a place of trust. You begin to sleep better, speak softer, and carry yourself with assurance, not because everything is fine, but because you're learning to trust the one who holds your future in His hands. There's a beauty in the peace that comes from God. It humbles you. It reminds you that you're not in control, but that's okay, because the one who is in control loves you beyond comprehension. This kind of peace doesn't come from reading a quote or from having a good day. It comes from intimacy with the Father. It comes from kneeling in your prayer closet and exchanging your worry for His word. His promises begin to echo louder than your panic. His faithfulness starts to weigh more than your fear. And the more you lean on Him, the more peace floods in. In moments like these, peace becomes your testimony. People may ask how you're still standing, how you're not falling apart, how you still have hope. And your only answer is, it's Jesus. Because there's no other explanation for this kind of peace. It's not natural, it's not earned, it's given, poured out from heaven like oil on a weary soul, and once you've tasted it, you stop chasing the world's version of peace, because nothing can compare. Money can't buy it, achievements can't secure it, only God can give it. So if you find yourself in the middle of worry, and yet you feel that quiet peace rising up inside you, don't ignore it. Don't second guess it. That peace is not a coincidence. It is confirmation. It is God saying, I am with you. I have not left you. I am doing something new, and though you cannot see it yet, my hand is upon you. Let that peace guide your steps, still your heart, and strengthen your faith. You are not walking through the storm alone. The one who calms the seas walks beside you, and in his presence, peace will always triumph over fear. Sometimes we are waiting for God to speak with a thunderclap, expecting a dramatic sign or a life-altering encounter to confirm his will. But in his great wisdom and perfect gentleness, God often chooses to speak through the small things, the details we are quick to overlook, a single verse that keeps appearing, a nudge to call someone, a quiet conviction in your spirit to take a step, change a habit, or slow down. These moments are not random. They are divine instructions whispered into the ear of a soul that is listening, and though they may seem small or insignificant at first, they carry the weight of heavenly direction. God is not silent. He is always speaking, but we must learn to tune our hearts to hear the frequency of his voice. Often it's not in the earthquake, nor in the fire, but in the still, small whisper. It comes in the hallway between big decisions. It may come while you're washing dishes, driving in silence, or sitting alone in prayer. It won't demand your attention like the noise of the world does. It waits patiently for your stillness. And when you're quiet enough to hear it, you'll realize he's been guiding you all along, one small step at a time. These instructions are often simple, yet profoundly significant. The Spirit may prompt you to apologize to someone you've held a grudge against, or he may lead you to give when it feels inconvenient. Sometimes the instruction is to wait, other times to speak up. But whatever it is, it will always align with the character of Christ, gentle, loving, humble, and true. Obeying these small directions opens the door for bigger movements of God in your life. The one who is faithful in the little things will be entrusted with much. It's important to recognize that our obedience in the small things matters just as much, if not more, than the big, visible steps. God tests our hearts in the quiet places. He watches how we respond to a whisper before he gives us a shout. Before he opens doors in public, he often gives instruction in private. That still, sacred place where it's just you and him, that's where the roots of your destiny are planted. Every moment of obedience is a seed, and though it may not blossom immediately, in time, it will produce fruit. We often want clarity before we move, but God gives light for the next step, not the whole staircase. It is in walking with him daily, responding to his small nudges, that the bigger picture becomes clear. You may feel like your obedience is not making a difference, but in the unseen realm, things are shifting. Heaven moves when earth obeys, and often your small yes today is the reason for someone else's break through tomorrow. That word of encouragement you gave, that prayer you whispered, that temptation you resisted, none of it is wasted. The enemy would love to convince you that small things don't matter, that your prayer was too short, your obedience too late, your gesture too simple. But God doesn't judge by human standards. He looks at the heart. And when your heart is surrendered, even the smallest act of faith becomes a doorway for his glory. Remember, the widow's 2 coins were more valuable in God's eyes than the rich man's abundance. Why? Because she obeyed in faith from the quiet place of devotion. There is also protection in these divine instructions. Sometimes the Spirit prompts you to turn around, take a different route, or delay your plans, and later you realize that guidance kept you from harm. Other times it's spiritual protection, a nudge to stay away from certain people, conversations, or decisions. You may not always understand it in the moment, but you will see in hindsight that God was shielding you. This is why it is vital to remain sensitive to His voice, even in the smallest matters. He sees what you cannot, and His instructions are rooted in perfect love. So as you move forward, don't wait for a burning bush to know that God is leading you. Pay attention to the whispers, the daily grace, the inward promptings of the Spirit. Those small instructions may not come with fireworks, but they carry the authority of heaven. When God is about to do something new in your life, He often starts by realigning your steps in the small things. Trust them, follow them, and you will find that the newness you seek is not found in one giant leap, but in 1,000 little obediences strung together by the hand of a faithful God. There are seasons in life when you begin to notice doors closing around you, opportunities dry up, relationships shift, familiar paths become blocked, and what once flowed easily now feels strangely difficult. This closing of doors can be painful, especially when you don't understand why it's happening. You may feel rejected, left out, or confused, but often when God begins closing doors, it is not because He is punishing you, it is because He is protecting you. He is rerouting you, redirecting you, and repositioning you for something that your current path cannot contain. And though you may grieve what is lost, these closed doors are the first signs that God is doing something new.